I want to show you how I edited this photo, which is a raw photo. This is an unprocessed photo. I want to show you how I edited this photo to this photo. If you look closely on the screen, you can be able to spot the difference. First of all, I will take this photo to Photoshop. This is a raw photograph. I will take it to Photoshop, and my Photoshop is open already. Here is it. This is the raw file. I'm going to do the basic processing, just the basic raw file color grading. Just open my shadow. When I open my shadow, I close my blacks a bit. I take my texture to maybe +3. I'll scroll down, go to details. I'll adjust my sharpening to maybe 48, and that's it. I do less, I don't do much in this basic um, color grading or in the raw processing. I just do this little because I will still do the color grading. So once I'm done with this, I will open, or I save my photo. Let me save. Let me save so that I can have it in JPEG form. So once I do Control S, it's going to give me it's going to turn up the save option, and then I will save with color spacing sRGB, my quality 12, which is the maximum, and then I'll click on the save for it to save. Once it's saved, I'll click on done. Now I'll go to my folder, and then here I have the file, the JPEG file that is unprocessed. Now I'm trying to process the JPEG file, this to come out like this. So what I do, I'll take this to Photoshop. Here is the file here. Now the first thing I'm going to do before I start working on the skin of this model is this. I'm going to work on my background. I usually work on my background first before I work on the skin. Now the background I use is a seamless paper background, and it's kind of torn, so I use max tape to hold it. These are the marks you can see on the background of the photo. So what I do is I'm gonna use my patch tool. This is the patch tool. I will use it to patch carefully, move to the smooth side. That's it. I select my patch tool again, patch this area, move to this smooth side, and that is it. I can see some small spots here. I'll patch it. Now I'm not going to use the patch tool for this tape, these cars on the background. I'm not going to use the patch tool because these stuffs are getting close to the image. So I will just use the select tool to select it and clone. I will just select carefully and clone. I'm gonna select carefully and clone. I've selected. I use my polygonal lasso tool to do that selection, and then I'm gonna fade that to maybe 6 so that the edge doesn't get so rough and so sharp. It's gonna just blend in and get smooth. Now I'm gonna use my clone stamp tool with opacity 100, flow 100. I'm gonna hold the alternate. When I click on the alternate, I will clone stamp. Now I will click on the alternate again on the area which I feel is closer to the one I want to patch or the one I want to clone. I will clone stamp again, and that's it. I'll drop my tool with Command D or Control D for Windows. Now this is it. I'll take it back. Now if you zoom closer again, you'll see there is a white spot there. I'm still gonna select there with my polygonal tool, select it carefully, select this other part carefully again, and then I'll right click, choose a feather with radius of 6 again, and now I will do the same thing which I did in the first part. Control D. So now if I click back, you will notice the hair, the scars which affected, or the background, the dented background which affected the image. is no longer there. I will pick my patch tool to smoothen that area by patching and moving it to a better side of the background. Now we have a seamless and smooth background. So the next step I'm going to take now is moving to the area of frequency separation, where I'm going to smoothen the face and make it come out even, make it come out seamless. I hardly do dodge and burn for many of my images, because when I edit them, they don't come out, the image don't come out flat. So I only do dodge and burn for flat images, or maybe for image which didn't just come out the way I want it to come, so I want it to offer. That's when I do dodge and burn. For this, I'm going to go straight to the frequency separation. I have an action here, which is this frequency separation 16-bit or 8-bit. I'm going to use any of them. Now I'm going to use a radius of 7 to brush this photo. 7 to brush this photo. The reason why I'm using a radius of 7 is because the image is cropped, is close up. Maybe 7 or 7.5. Let's use 7.5 for this. So we have 7.5 here as the radius. Now the frequency separation I'm using has 3 layers, which is the correction layer as an extra layer. The regular frequency separation we'll do has 2 layers, the high frequency layer and the low frequency layer. I'm still going to do a tutorial on frequency separation, but for now let's just jump on to how I got this image done. Now for the low frequency, if I'm using this frequency separation pattern, I'm going to turn off my high frequency layer, choose my mixer tool brush, and then tick sample all layers. Now this is what I need. This is the area where I want you to really pay close attention. You tick sample all layers, and then you make sure you're turning off your high frequency layer. Now I usually adjust my wet. I use between 9 and 15. So in case like this, I can just adjust my wet to 13. You can make your load 75, 90, 100, and then your brush pressure you make it 2. I mean this brush thickness, you make it, the stroke thickness, you make it 2. Now this is the setting I usually use for my frequency separation. Other persons, different person with different frequency separation settings, but this is what works for me, and this was how I was able to achieve the image which I showed you before I started this frequency separation process. So let's continue now. I'm going to start from any corner, any area to begin brushing. Let me start from here. I'm going to brush here. Okay, I'll brush now. I'll brush this. Oh, okay. Now the way I brush these photos, I don't pay so much attention to them, because sometimes I, after doing the first brushing, I need to go again and do a second brushing to make sure the image comes out seamless. So what I do, sometimes I just start from the forehead and start brushing, and then I proceed to the nose area, to the jaw, and then to the chin. It doesn't mean I won't have to go forward again to the other area of the face to brush again. Now the way I brush, I brush according to how the shape of the face goes. I brush according to how the shape of the makeup, according to the shape of how the makeup artist did the makeup. If I brush for some time, I will turn on my high frequency layer to see how far I've gone. I will turn off again, continue brushing. This makeup was done by Favis Makeover, a makeup artist in Port Harcourt. I'm going to include her link in the description. And the hairstyling was done by Wemsy Hair, a hairstylist in Port Harcourt also. The both of these vendors collaborated to give me a beautiful photo like this. I'm still also going to tag the name of the model in the description. While I'm brushing, I avoid brushing it in a way that the brush flattens those areas where I don't intend to be flat. For example, the areas where we have these stones, I mind them. The areas where we have this highlights also, I mind them, you know. So I just mind the areas where I'm to brush, and then the areas where I'm not to brush also, and then also the areas where I'm meant to apply pressure to brush, you know. So this is how far we've gone. I will proceed also. I will brush the hand. I'm still gonna come back to the face. I will brush the hand to see how far I've gone. Now for this frequent separation pattern, you have the choice, or you have the option to use the eraser to delete any area which you feel you did not brush properly. Maybe you made a mistake or something, or maybe the brushing did not just go well. You can use the eraser, go to the correction layer and then clean, so that you can brush again. Let me undo that. Okay, so let's proceed now. Is when brushing, please pay close attention to these areas which you're not meant to add so much pressure with the brush. See, if you can watch closely now, you notice I'm back to the face. I'm back to the face. I'm brushing the face to make sure it comes out, the both side of the face, the both side comes out even, you know. Let me turn on the high frequency layer to see how far I have brushed. Now this is the before, this is the after, this is the before, this is the after. Let's go again. Let's blend those areas which we brushed already. Now the good thing with this type of frequency separation is when you turn off the high frequency layer, you look at it closely, you see areas where you're meant to apply your brush again and then make it come out the way you want it, or the way it's meant to come out. So I'm going again to blend the areas I'm meant to blend. Now in course of doing this brushing or moving my brush, you will notice I will strike the brush close to the, sometimes I strike the brush close to the eyebrow or the eyebrow, and if I do that, I can easily use my eraser tool to clean it and make the eyebrow come out sharp again. Let me turn it on again. See what we got now. So this is the before, this is the after, this is the before, this is the after. For areas where I'm not meant to apply so much pressure, or maybe mix it with mix the mix the low light with the highlight. If you watch closely, I avoided those areas. If I'm brushing, I concentrate on the highlight, the white area, and then brush the low light differently, the areas with low light differently, brush the mid tones differently, and then proceed. So this is what we got now. Let me pick my eraser tool and then clean those areas where I mistakenly use my brush. If you watch